Hello everyone, and welcome to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we look at various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, what it is to be a person, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is superhuman good enough? Imagine, if you would, that you had a sick child. Your child has been ill for several days now, and it no longer looks like it's merely a cold gotten from school. It's time to pay the doctor a visit, but unfortunately, as is so often the case, your doctor is fully booked for the next week and a half. You could try a walk-in clinic, but they have a 5-hour minimum wait time, and the costs there are exorbitant, and money is rather tight. You've heard of the new AI doctors that you can talk to for free online. They can't prescribe any medication, but they can diagnose illnesses and recommend next steps. That's better than nothing, you think, and maybe the AI doctor can tell you that you only need some over-the-counter medicine. But how good are these things? You look around online and see that they aren't perfect. Far from it. Even the really good ones, the ones that need a subscription, still less than the cost of one doctor's visit, still make mistakes. Yet other places online show that these AI doctors are as good as human ones, at least those human doctors who do virtual consultations. You're not sure whether this says something good about AI doctors or something bad about human doctors. The only problem is that if the AI doctor gives your daughter a wrong diagnosis and you follow these incorrect recommendations, who can you complain to? Who is held accountable? So what do? Spend 5 hours and far too much money at a walk-in clinic, or try the AI doctor? What about a less threatening scenario? Imagine, if you would, that you get in your car to head off to work when the ruddy thing just won't start. No matter what you do and how much you beg, the thing sits as idle as a stoned sloth. You could always call a tow truck to haul the broken thing off to a mechanic. But between both of these services, you know that your bank account won't be awfully happy with you. On the other hand, you remember a friend of yours telling you how he fixed his car by talking to an AI car chatbot. It's free to use, and if the problem is a relatively easy fix, then you won't have to spend money on it at all. You could be back on the road today if everything goes well. But what if it doesn't go well? If the tow truck or mechanic damages your car, their insurance will pay for it. But you know that your insurance won't cover any damage you cause as you bumble your way through the engine block. You don't really think that sending an invoice to the car chatbot's creator will get you any money. So, what now? Do you spend all that money on the tow truck and mechanic, or do you try the AI car chatbot and do it yourself for free? I could go on listing different scenarios, but they would all come down to the same question. Would you opt to use an AI specialist in whatever area that is free or quite cheap, readily available whenever you need it, and is nearly as good or at the same level as human specialists? Because the fact is that human specialists and experts are hard to come by, and when we do get to them, they can be exceedingly expensive. With the costs of living continuing to rise, the fees charged by these experts will climb as well. With a never-ending need for experts and specialists, at what point do we turn to AI to support us to solve our problems? Recently on social media, there have been more than a few medical professionals speaking out against the use of AI doctors. The predominant rationale has been that there is no accountability for when AI doctors provide incorrect diagnoses, and thus, these medical professionals are quite right. Yet there are two underlying implications within these calls for banning AI doctors that anyone familiar with the outcries against AI art would instantly recognize. The first is that AI doctors ought to be perfect, or they aren't good enough, just like how people rail against any AI art that isn't 100% perfect. We can immediately disregard this argument for one simple reason. We don't need them to be perfect. We only need them to be as good as humans, because we know that the technology will advance in years to come to make them superhuman. Just like how AI art has already surpassed human art in style and quality, and will continue to get better, we know that AI medicine will too. Human doctors already make mistakes, So we only need AI doctors to make equal or fewer mistakes for them to be on par with the services we are already getting. The second, more insidious implication we see in the outcries against AI medicine is the same one we are seeing now with the strikes in Hollywood. People want to ban AI in their field of work, so that we are forced to pay these people whatever sums they wish to obtain a service. Artists don't want us to get free or exceedingly cheap art, because they want us to pay them hundreds of dollars for each individual art piece. Doctors can charge hundreds of dollars for a half-hour consultation. Why on earth would they willingly want to give this up so that people can talk for hours on end to an AI doctor? If and when someone does create an AI mechanic, you know that the Automobile Association will be the first to rail against its use for being unsafe. People who have a vested financial interest in seeing AI banned will naturally call for the banning of AI. The issue here, and the one that needs to be said again and again, is that these AI specialists will benefit those of us who aren't experts. AI art bots, AI doctors, AI mechanics won't help the experts. They will help those of us who aren't artists or doctors or mechanics. We will see untold benefits from these AI models, but we will only do so if we can champion their use and defend our usage of them from the experts who want our money instead, want our money. And that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as I delve into further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.